My neighbor recently decided that Idaho just was not for them and they are moving away from Idaho back to California. We're going to be diving into exactly why they decided to move and why maybe you need to look at these things too before you make the move here and make sure that Idaho is the right place for you. And I actually had another client as well who was looking to move here and then also decided not to move as well. Now, both of these folks were retired couples, so this might be part of their decision making. So that's why you got to decide if this makes sense for you or if this just isn't the boat that you're in right now. So we're going to be covering what those main reasons were, why they decided that Idaho just wasn't for them and actually decided to sell their home and lose money in the whole process of making that move here and commissions and everything, and then having to move back to California, out quite a bit of money. Now, a lot of people move to Idaho for a lot of really important, valid reasons, especially if they're moving from California. I actually moved from San Diego myself, so I understand what a lot of people are going through when they're making the move here to Idaho, especially leaving a state like California. California is a tough place to leave as far as weather and climate. I mean, San Diego probably has one of the best weather west climates possible in all of the US, let alone in a lot of the world. But there's a lot of reasons why people just are having to move away there, whether it's affordability, whether it's politics, better, higher quality way of life. And that was a big reason why I moved here to Idaho and actually uprooted my family as a third generation San Diegan, moving away from beautiful San Diego and some of my family that still lives there to a place like Idaho, and kind of had to restart my life, which is maybe what you're looking to do as well. Maybe you are looking for a restart, but really just looking for that better quality of life, lower overall cost of living, especially when it comes to housing compared to California. And that's why a lot of people are moving here with all those freedoms, less mandates, just so much more things that you can do without feeling like the government is coming down on you. That is a big reason why so many people are moving here to Idaho. I absolutely love living here in Idaho. Was the transition hard for me? Yeah, it wasn't easy. It certainly has been a transition process, getting to know new people, figuring out what are the things to do here. But there are just so many family-friendly opportunities here and things to do, whether that's Indian Creek Plaza and the 260 events they offer every single year, all sorts of cool events like live music, or like Corbin Maxey, who has live animal shows here, big time YouTube star.
Everyone give it up for Indian Creek Plaza for letting us do a reptile show.
Different events like that, or even the ice ribbon during Christmas time, or over in Meridian, you've got the Village, all the cool shops and restaurants. You've got Santa's Village during Christmas time, also an ice rink, the movie theater there, and you've got right next door KLEINER Park right there next to you in the Village. And then SETTLER'S Park over in the Village as well, with all kinds of huge playground, baseball fields, pickleball. You've got Discovery Park down in South Meridian, almost in Kuna, and then up in Eagle, you've got Reed Merrill Parks. Tons of things to do for families. You're super close to the foothills, kayaking, whitewater rafting, hunting, fishing, camping, off-roading, all kinds of things to do here in the Treasure Valley and just outside of it. Now, as I mentioned, I moved here to Idaho as well, and I help people make the move here to Idaho as a real estate agent. My team and I specialize in helping people just like you and you and you and you and you make the move to Idaho. I get calls and reach outs all the time from people just like you, whether they're 9 days, 90 days, or even 2 years out from making the move here. So all you gotta do is call, text, or shoot me an email, and we'll jump on a phone call or a Zoom call and figure out a timeline and exactly the right area that makes sense for you to make the move here to Idaho. So there's so many cool things to do here in Idaho and the Treasure Valley, but it's just not for everyone. So we're gonna look into why this couple moved here, but then decided to move back to California, and also this other couple that I was working with that just decided not to make the move at all here. So this one couple, what they came to me when I found out they were moving, it was actually a neighbor. I saw their house was up for sale, and I was kind of surprised because I knew that they moved here just last year, but now they're moving less than a year later. I was like, wow, why would you go through all the cost of moving and then moving back away? I felt really bad for them. And so what they told me is that there was two main reasons why they decided not to move here. So they are a retired couple. Now they had some special conditions with their medical needs that they really needed taken care of. I don't want to go into specific details around their needs, but what they found was just the specialties that they needed with the hospital care system here just wasn't quite there. So we do have a lot of great hospitals here in the Treasure Valley with St. Luke's, St. Alphonsus, certainly a lot of access to great medical care, but the level of care that they needed for their specific condition just really wasn't actually offered here in the Treasure Valley. So that's going to be the number one takeaway, that if you are looking for medical care and have a very specialized need, you definitely want to make sure you do your research before you move here and make sure that that specialty is actually offered here and you can find a doctor that can give you the high level of care that you're actually going to need. So if that's you, then maybe Idaho is not the right place for you if you have that highly specialized care back in California or whatever state you might be relocating from. So do that research before you come out here. Make sure that you can actually get the medical care that you're looking for. If you're enjoying this video and you like getting videos like this about your move to Idaho and exploring all the areas, all the neighborhoods, all the subdivisions, all the pros and cons, all you got to do is hit subscribe and hit that bell notification so you get notified every time a new video comes out, which is every single week, sometimes even 2 videos a week, so you can stay up to date and make the absolutely smooth move here to Idaho. The other big thing that they told me was actually the weather. They literally told me it is so darn cold here. That's actually something that I hear a lot from people that live here, is that they'll actually say, now this is from builder representatives trying to sell homes, is that, oh, it's actually not that cold here in Idaho. Well, coming from San Diego, where it's 72 and sunny all year round, it's cold here in Idaho. And actually, we just experienced a record-breaking year in Idaho where we had about 160 days straight of under 60-degree weather. And most of those were well under 60 degrees. In fact, this was one of the coldest winters we had on record. It was the 10th snowiest winter on record since like the 1800s, since they've been keeping track of these things. Same with that 160 days under 60 degrees. Now, was it like a foot of snow at a time? No, it typically was about 1 to 2 inches of snow at a time, but just snowed quite frequently throughout the year. So I was actually really grateful that I have a 4-wheel drive vehicle and my wife has an all-wheel drive vehicle. So we really had no problems getting around at all. The subdivisions typically are not cleared, but the main roads are always cleared and de-iced. So you got to keep that in mind. When you're moving here, you're probably going to want a vehicle that is 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive so you can get around if you got to get to work on time. If you work from home, then it may not be as big of a deal. But we actually sold a 2-wheel drive vehicle before we moved here and then bought an all-wheel drive vehicle when we got here. Now, going back to how cold it is, yeah, it does get cold. Like I said, this is one of the coldest winters on record. So if you're not prepared for that, you are going to be indoors more than you're used to if you're coming especially from a place like Southern California or almost anywhere in California for that matter. You probably will be indoors a bit more than you're used to. So that means you got to do certain things to be prepared for that. One, of course, you got to be prepared for the cold weather when you go out, bundle up. You also are going to be running your heat a lot. Fortunately, energy costs are very, very cheap here, especially compared to California. I mean, probably about 1/4 of the cost of California. Right now, my energy bills on average between gas and electric average about $150 a month or so. So on the low end, it could be 100, high end, it might be 200 for gas and electric. So way, way cheaper. And that's running heat or air conditioning almost 24/7 to keep my home nice and conditioned. Now, there are things you can do too, like vitamin D lamps you can actually purchase. They're a little pricey, about $600, I believe. I haven't bought one myself. That can give you a little bit extra vitamin D to stave off, being inside a little bit more and not having as much exposure to the sun. That's something that is going to be sold to people, is that, oh, it's not that cold, but it really is, especially if you're moving from California. The other thing for this other couple that decided ultimately to not move here. So that was the one couple that decided to move here and then move back to California so they could get back to the warm weather and back to their highly specialized medical needs. The other couple that decided not to move here, the number one reason why they decided not to move here at the end of the day was actually because they were not liking how much development there was going on here and seeing farmland getting turned into homes. Now, he had grown up in Ventura, California, and so there was a lot of lemon groves, I believe, there in Ventura, and he had seen that as a child, getting those lemon groves turned into homes and overdeveloped, and he was worried about that same thing happening here. So there are certainly farmland that is being turned into homes. There's a lot of people moving to Idaho for the reasons I explained earlier. Well, those people have to have a place to live, and a lot of that tends to be farmland that's being turned into subdivisions. Now, some of these subdivisions are, frankly, any new subdivision that's being built actually is really nice. It's just going to depend on the level of quality of the home that you're going to get. But a lot of these homes are going to be a lot closer together than what a lot of people are looking for in the moving to Idaho. A lot of people, when they first call me, are looking for homes potentially with a lot of space. And they start out saying, I want a home with at least an acre or more. But what they find out quickly is that those homes are actually kind of expensive because land is getting more and more expensive here in Idaho. Now, fortunately, we did have a market dip recently, so home prices did come down about 15 to 20%, and we are bottoming out and starting to rise back up. But that's going to provide a little more affordability if you're looking to make the move here and maybe get that land that you were looking for. However, there's a lot of downsides with the land. I have a whole nother video about buying homes with land, but remember, it's a lot more to maintain as well. So if you're looking for ease of maintenance, then you probably are going to want a nice new home, low maintenance, not small yard necessarily, but not a huge piece of property, easier to maintain. So that was the number one reason why that couple decided not to move here, is they just didn't like seeing all the farmland getting turned into homes. But unfortunately, any desirable state where people are moving to right now, that is happening, and it's happening for a reason, because people really want to live there, and those people have to have a place to live. If those homes are not getting built, then that will drive home prices extremely high because of the large demand that's happening of people moving to places like Idaho, Texas, Florida, Tennessee. And if those homes aren't getting built, then home prices are going to skyrocket, and then you're going to have another major affordability problem that people are already complaining about. If that's you and you're looking for a place where no one's moving to and maybe doesn't have highly specialized healthcare, or you're worried about the weather, then Idaho may not be the place for you. But if you are looking for a place that does have good quality healthcare overall, the weather overall is relatively temperate compared to other parts of the state and other places where a lot of people are considering moving, and you're not too worried about the homes that are being built here and that the fact that there are being nice homes being built for you to actually move into, then Idaho really might be the place for you, especially if you're looking for the freedoms and lower cost of living that a lot of people are fleeing California, especially get away from the political situations that are occurring in California. Those were big reasons why I moved as well. If you are looking to make the move to Idaho, all you gotta do is reach out to me, and my team and I would love to help you make the move here. We specialize in helping people just like you make the move here. I moved myself from California along with my family, and I absolutely love helping people just like you make the move to Idaho. So just give us a call, text, or email. We'll jump on a Zoom call and help you make the move, whether that's 9 days, 90 days, or even 2 years from now.